So with it, so with Hulk Hogan being, well, him, and pretty much train wrecking the entire concept of real American freestyle wrestling just by being Hulk Hogan, and having been on air saying what he said, and the people knowing this, and the people looking right through him and saying you are a piece of crap. So I was hoping the rot would not go into real American freestyle wrestling, but here it is. They haven't even sold a tenth of the tickets. They've been it's a I just don't know. It's dead on arrival, isn't it? This is just D-O and A. And ah ha ha ha. Hey, come over here. There we go. So it is. I mean, I'm sorry. It is. It's D-O-8. So let's start looking at survival mode, because that's what it's going to be in from the get-go. It's in survival mode from the get-go. I already explained the venue needs to just, abandon ship. You're not doing big city tours. You're not doing this. Go to center stage. Go rent it out. Go set it up how you need to, and do what you need to do. Get your taping in. Give it about 1 hour tape delay, and off you go. Off you go. Sorry about your luck. Okay, and that's how to fix that part of the debacle until until you can get some kind of a deal, because otherwise you're just streaming to YouTube, and as you can see, streaming to YouTube isn't always successful, as you can plainly see on my channel. No, I kid. I get views. I call that a success, okay? But I call that a success for me, because getting 0 views is not good. Getting 1 is much better than 0. There are some of mine that have 0, and now I don't tend to keep 0 viewed. There we go. Good puppies. Let's get this one. So the venue options have to change, number 1. And number 2, you're going to have to go, honestly, back in time a little bit. And you're going back in time to the world of original professional wrestling, which was unscripted. And the matches did go on forever and a day. But it's where we have to start. Okay, this is our starting point. And we take that and tweak things a little bit to make it fit. Okay, like number 1, a title and a championship. Why not? And a belt. Why not? Why not? Give me a good reason why there shouldn't be a belt. Okay? It can be whatever size you want it. But why can't there be one? They're going to have to focus, and this was where there was a 2000s promotion called Real Professional Wrestling, RPW, and what it was, it did team play, and it just ruined any semblance of what could be done. In all honesty, that's what it did. It ruined any semblance, because the team went on, not the individual. Yeah, teams and stables and such can naturally evolve, but sticking them in one right away is just goofy. And that's what they did. They just stuck him in one and said, "Here you go, good luck." Good bloody luck there, huh? Right? But you can't do that. You really can't do this. And it doesn't tell the individual story. That's what One of the things that Eric Bischoff was quoted as saying, he wanted to focus on individual, not on collectives. So it's always a good sign for that. Always a good sign when you can do that. I'm going to downrank that. And so that part is good. That part is a very positive part. But the negatives right now are so severely outweighing the positives that it's like I said, it's DOA. We have to make it not that way. And it's going to be hard. And it's going to be hard, like I said. But one of the things you can do, you dive back in. Again, let me get back to where I was. Because the original world there of professional wrestling was unscripted. You had them in a ring, much like modern day, or just a dang circle, but that's how the squared circle came about, okay? That's literally how it happened. And they had it to 45-minute matches and best 2 out of 3 falls and this and this and this. And you could probably do that, but there's better ways around that, and you gotta hit it within the rules. But we're going to probably have to bend a lot of rules in order to get things working, and to get butts in seats. Okay, there's going to have to be a sacrifice in order to have butts in seats, and I hate that. I truly, truly hate that. But it is what it is. It is what it is, guys. Okay, and so we need to start and make things actually work. But you could have things like a special challenge match. That's normal. That's just a normal match, right? I want to take on so and so. Well, okay, let's do that. Here we go. That easy, right? From there, it gets kind of in. From there, we can kind of tweak a few other things from here. What if you had one fall to a finish? And see, again, this is the advantage of center stage, of doing that, because if you start renting that place out and you have a one fall to a finish and it goes 1 hour and 45 minutes, guess what? People are going to leave. People are going to start leaving there. To just be brutal about it for a minute. Let's be brutal. So you do it in like a very small venue, or even if you are able to get center stage, do it in an empty arena, and you just let them go at it. You defer to ground action at all times. It is one fault. It is one fall to a finish, meaning someone's getting pinned out of this. Okay? That's the concept there. You defer to the ground. You break when they go out of bounds, or you break when something's dangerous. You reset everything just like you would normally do in a U.S. freestyle match. Okay? And it just keeps going and going and going until somebody is pinned down. So it's an interesting concept, isn't it? But it's something you can do, and it's something you can do that might get people to watch. It might get people to watch, but there's a whole slew of other problems coming around from this too. And chief among them is the fact that you might have introductions lasting longer than the match. So you've got to remember that as you go on. 30-second entrances per person max. You got to get this show running. You got to get this show on the road here, and it has to happen. It literally has to happen that way. You don't have a choice. Come on, go down. Uh, but we got it. There we go. Let's get this next bear. Got some hot bear action. But yeah, that's the basic concept of the one fall to a finish. You just defer to the ground more often than not. If they're down on the ground, just let them go. Just like in an old school professional match from, say, more than 100 years ago. I can't say 100 years ago now because that puts you at 1925, and that was when the scripted stuff was really beginning to hit. So you don't want it. You have to go further back than 100 years. But what else? I mean, we're not doing 2-on-1, 3-on-1, the goofy garbage that they do over there. It's not going to be anything like that. And the audience should be smart enough to know, but you don't. But this is a U.S. audience, and you never underestimate them. Sadly put. Now, let's get this Avenger bear. Come here, bear. Hey, wrong bear. How many hot bears are around here? There's 2. Now, what else could you do then? Could you do a cage? All the cage would mean is you can't get out of bounds. But then what happens from there? What happens when somebody uses the cage to gain an advantage in the match? Is that legal or not? Let's, talk about this a minute. Let's talk about this. Let's just get really goofy for a minute and think about this. We have a U.S. freestyled steel caged matchup. Pick 2 that have a real good rivalry right now. Just pick any 2 you want. And we're going to put them in this enclosure. We're going to put them in this thing where there's no such thing as out of bounds. Okay? That's the purpose of, that would be the purpose of it, is just to say, there's no out of bounds. You can't get out of bounds to stop the action. And it would still be the standard match. It's just with a silly little rule added in. Okay? And that's what you aim for. I mean, that's what you really got to aim for here. A match with just a silly little thing added in. You got 2 that can't stand each other, put them in a cage. No out of bounds. You can't run away. You want a special challenge? Okay, it's a non-title match against our champion. Look at his belt. Don't you want that belt? You beat him once, we'll give you a title match, and you can maybe get the belt. Who knows? Who knows where it could go to from here? Honestly. There's stuff you can do that's not going to take away from the core aspects of it. And you gotta get Hulk Hogan out of there ASAP. Don't even let him on the air for 1 second. Don't even do it. Every time he's on, he gets booed out of the building. You can only sell 300 tickets because they know RAFW has Hulk Hogan's name attached to it. Sorry, Charlie. Sorry about your luck. Absolutely sorry about your luck there. Get Hogan's name off. And you're in survival mode. So you're going to have to do something to get people's attention and get them to tune in. So let's go ahead. We'll finish off this thing. So what kind would you think about? What would you think about to add in there that wouldn't take away from the core mechanics? It's like introducing a dreaded change in WoW Classic, isn't it? Does the change justify things without breaking a core game mechanic? And that's what you have to debate every time you even want to try something in Classic, okay? Because it leads to unintended consequences every single time. Would putting 2 in a cage lead to unintended consequences? Yeah, they're going to crash into the cage. What do you do then? Does one fall to a finish carry unintended consequences? Yeah, somebody could get permanently injured from the groundwork. Because you're deferring to the ground, and by the time you may declare it a dangerous hold, it may be a bit too late. Is there... I mean, yeah, so you have to think about things like that. And we're going to turn in... So we're going to turn in these feathers, and I'll show you what I mean by changes. Get ready for this. Okay. So get ready for this. All right, in... What was this? Was this 3 or 4 AVs? I just can't remember. So let's come over here to the info screen. Actually, wait a minute. We'll do this. And I'll add salacious text to that too, okay? Or no, I don't know yet. So here we are. So 271, okay? So we have 271 HKs, all right? I'm at rank 9 and 9.8 from AV weekends between 51 and 60. Whenever it was there, I just did it. But this has been on the new honor system, not the old honor system. So there's your key. They made a change. And now take a look. Without honor degradation, I can hit rank 11 before level 60. I'm getting a spell plate set. I only highlighted that because guess what? You get the 2-piece bonus. You're basically saying the gloves are up to 23 are 23 spell. All right, so 2. There's the chest. There's the boots. I've already put my spurs on them to be ready to go. Ready to go at any possible moment, right? Was that change worth it for a paladin or a shadow priest or a chicken druid? Yeah, absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. I'm gonna check my teddy bear rep. Still unfriendly by a long shot. But absolutely it is. It is a dreaded change, right? Right. But was it a change for the better? For if you're a paladin or a shadow priest or a chicken druid, shamans are a little less, because you do get leatherworking patterns that have agility and spells, so you can do goofy stuff like spell hands and things like that. But was that change worth it? For a hybrid, yes. For a hybrid, yeah. Because you actually get something that's worth your while at level 60. That's not shut up and heal gear. Okay? There's your thing. And even then with a hybrid, for a priest, you have a little bit of an advantage, because we have a little bit of an advantage as a shadow priest, because you got stuff like fell cloth, right? But the change changed the mechanic of the honor grind, and it was necessary to change the mechanic of the honor grind. I said it before. When the Diaspora happened and they decided, well, you're going to be transitioned to Burning Crusade unless you go to the launcher, download Classic, Era, and then transfer your character over to Era, or pay us money to keep both characters, but you still have to go into the launcher to download Classic, and we're going to inconvenience you as much as possible to keep you away from Classic Era. And for some reason they did it. I don't get it either. Because I like Classic Era. But we're going to fly over here, darn, and we're going to sell that stupid bow we got. We're going to sell this bow that we got, because apparently it goes for like 9. I'm going to sell that gray, and we're going to call it a day. But if you are in RAFW, it's time to start thinking outside of the box. And for today's news in Warcraft, this is Turkeytentia, and I wish you a great day and great gaming. Start thinking RAFW, because the life of the promotion may depend on it. Goodbye, everybody.